Hey everyone, I'm back, and today we're going to be talking about The Running Man. And this movie came out in 1987, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. And I've never seen this movie before, and it was just on Netflix, and I was able to catch it right before it left Netflix because it's leaving. Well, by the time this video gets out, it'll already be gone, but it was leaving on October 31st. Saw it just a couple of days before that happened, and here we are. Watched it and I didn't really get much out of it. It wasn't a terrible movie, it was just a film that offered me nothing. The opening scene was kind of fun, and the action scenes overall, for the most part, were fun and entertaining, and they were definitely the highlights of the movie. Not anything that I'm really going to remember this movie for, because I'm not really going to remember this movie for much of anything, really, other than it just made me wish I was watching other things. But I was liking the movie for the first 10 minutes. I was enjoying the tone of the movie in terms of what it was setting up and establishing. I was like, okay, this is interesting. I like where we're going with this. And the pacing was pretty quick, and that's something I can say for most of the movie. Unfortunately, once we get past the first 10 minutes, then it starts to lose all sense of story and characters, and no one is particularly interesting to me. There's this female lead that they introduce, who I find to be extremely annoying and useless, and they literally give her like nothing to do. Like, she doesn't need to be in the movie, other than to be just like a love interest character, I guess. But that's it. She's a really boring character. And that's not just her. Like, she definitely stands out for sure, but pretty much all of the characters I found to be really boring and uninteresting. And there were some performances that I didn't quite believe, and Arnold Schwarzenegger, I like him overall, but sometimes he works just fine in certain movies, but other times he just doesn't work at all. And in this movie, I just didn't really buy him as a character. I just see Arnold Schwarzenegger. And never once did I feel as though he was like in danger, because I always felt as though he could overpower anyone who he came into contact with. So there's that problem. And there was a couple references to the Terminator, which I'm not really sure if I can say is a problem or much of anything. It's just I'll be back, and that's about it. And it kind of feels like it just comes out of nowhere, honestly. Like if the Terminator didn't exist, it kind of just felt like, oh, I'm just gonna say something to like make this one character feel scared, but just saying I'll be back, like that line doesn't really work unless you've seen The Terminator. There were moments where the movie was trying to be funny, and those fell completely flat for me. The music in this movie was overused to the point where it became manipulative and annoying, and just, I wanted them to stop using it. It was just all over the place, and it was spammed. I couldn't stand it. And once we get to the Running Man event, there's no build up to it at all. Like, it just comes out of nowhere, and you watch it and you realize, okay, it just kind of happens, and we didn't really get much of a build up. And once we get there, not terribly boring for the most part, but unfortunately, the build up to it, no tension whatsoever. And when we get to the third act, it's like, oh, we're doing this now. There wasn't any build up to anything. That's my biggest problem with this movie. There's very little build up, if at all. There's like no build up to anything, and it just feels like, oh, let's just throw in these random ideas, and we're just going to say, oh, we have a movie, we have a story, and sure, on paper you have something there, but unfortunately, it didn't really feel earned in terms of the things that it was going for. It didn't feel as though we had any proper development to get to these things, or anything that justified first act, second act, third act, like a proper build up to any of those things. None of that is in this movie. And it just feels awkward as a result. And this movie did kind of remind me of Death Race 2000 a lot. And I had honestly rather watch that movie over this, just because I got more out of it. Not saying it's a great movie, but I can at least remember parts about it. And if you want a 1980s action movie where there's some social commentary attached to it, but also works as a pretty good action movie, watch They Live. It's a much better movie than this. And there are moments in this movie where I noticed that there were too many close shots in the action scenes where I couldn't make out what was going on. Like, that's a big letdown. Like, you want to see the action, right? Why won't you let me see the action? And that's about all I have to say about The Running Man. I was very disappointed by this movie, didn't get much out of it. Thankfully, I was able to watch it in 1.5 times speed after the first 10 minutes because I can only imagine how much more bored I would have been watching it in 1.0 times speed. So I watched it in the, I guess, ideal way to watch it. But sadly, you're not going to be able to see it that way, at least for a while, because it's leaving Netflix and will be gone by the time this video is up. So that's going to be unfortunate. So skip this movie if you ever come across it. I just don't think it's worth your time, and there's just much better movies out there you could be watching. So with all that being said, I'm going to give The Running Man a 4 out of 10. Thank you for watching my videos as always. If you enjoyed this review, be sure to leave a like and comment down below what you thought of The Running Man, and my social media links, they will all be in the description, so follow me there. And last but not least, subscribe to be a part of Foley Nation, and I'll see you when I get my next review up, and that is going to be for Chainsaw Man, the movie, the Reze arc, if I pronounced that correctly. So look forward to that, but until I get that up, thank you for watching and have a great day.